Yo people, welcome back to another Cobra Kai video. Now, today's video will be my theory on how I think Axel will lose in the Sekai Taikai. Now, everyone's been saying how he can't lose, he's way too OP, no one even scored a point on him in part 2, so the show won't be able to make his loss believable. But I have a theory. Now, before I get into that, I just wanted to thank everyone for supporting the channel and getting the channel over 800 subscribers. I massively appreciate it. So, how does Axel lose in the Sekai Taikai? I'm sorry Robby fans, but I'm gonna stick to my prediction from before part 2 even came out, and I think that Robby will get injured out of the tournament. However, Robby will go down as a hero and very clutch. In my opinion, I think he'll be the one to discover how to defeat Axel before he gets injured. I think Robby will be the one to expose Axel's vulnerability, and that's what makes Axel angry to the point where he feels insecure and injures Robby in order to stop him. Of course, how will this be allowed? Terry Silver might manipulate stuff so that Axel doesn't get any punishments or anything, but that's a whole different thing. As for how to defeat Axel, I think Robby will also tire out Axel a bit, potentially hurt Axel, as well as find a way to defeat him. After Robby finds the way, I think he will tell Miguel the exact game plan so that Miguel can execute it in the final. At this point, Miguel will be the male captain of Cobra Kai. Check out my last video if you want to see more on how I think that happens. Think of Robby as Galen Erso from Star Wars, the one who created the weakness for the Death Star, and in this case Miguel is Luke Skywalker who needs to execute the plan. They both need each other to make this whole thing work, so one's not more important than the other. Now you're probably thinking, what is the game plan? How do you defeat Axel? Now for me, I think Axel's weakness is the counterattack. We saw Axel's defense when he was full of energy and it was crazy, so let's not even bother with that. But one thing to remember is Robby got Axel angry when he was defending all of Axel's hits when Robby was just focused on Miyagi-Do defending. I believe in part 2 we already saw Axel's weakness, and I'll show you some examples within the Robby versus Axel fight where Axel was completely exposed and the counterattack would have worked. So we'll call this picture 1, and we see Robby could have attacked. He didn't because the kick was strong from Axel, but I think a stronger build like Miguel's would endure the hits easier, setting him up for the counterattack and a clean strike at Axel. Let's move on to the next one, picture number 2. Robby does nothing in this position, he just allows Axel to hit him, but Axel is still exposed if someone actually went for the attack. Picture 3, we see Axel again exposed once Robby blocks, but he doesn't even try to go for the punch because he's too focused on defending. He's not open-minded, he's not thinking about attack. These are just 3 examples where Axel leaves himself completely exposed while he's attacking, and Robby didn't even counter the attacks. Now, I'm not saying these were 3 easy opportunities or 3 guaranteed points, but Robby didn't even try mixing the attack and defense in the same move, in the same sequence. At the start of the fight, he started attacking, and then he just switched to only defense. Now, as we know, Robby has great Miyagi-Do defense, probably the best out of the teenage fighters. He also has great athleticism. And on the flip side, Miguel has great Cobra Kai attack and strength. So what I think this show has done is set up Axel's weakness to require the use of both Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai at the same time in fighting sequences. I think Miguel will need to show his best defense yet and pick the right moments to attack and to strike, which we all know he can do that. So ultimately the key to win will be a culmination of everything Miguel has learned from both dojos from season 1 to season 6, Miyagi-Do defense and Cobra Kai attack, and finding a way to blend them and balance them perfectly and pick the correct moment to strike. I could even see this fight being the type where Miguel starts the match with pure defense, leaning into his Muhammad Ali a little bit and trying to recreate some of that Ali versus Foreman, where if you haven't seen the match, Ali starts the match kind of defensive, he's on the ropes, he lets Foreman just attack all match long. Ali endures all of it, but this strategy was done to tire out Foreman, and when the time was right for Ali, he would then start to attack more, and as Foreman would tire out, this left him wide open for hits, and eventually Ali won. So I do see Miguel having to maybe start off defending, tire out Axel, and this match will be very intense. It's kind of like a beast versus beast. They're both going to endure tough hits. A lot of resilience and a lot of character will be needed to even survive this match. This will be a mental fight as well as a pure physical fight. And one last thing that could cause Axel to lose is him not being focused. We've seen how the show has emphasized how important it is to be focused and to be balanced. We saw how Robby suffered from it in the Sekai Taikai in part 2. But as for Axel, there's not really a lot that I could really think of him losing focus over, unless something expands with the whole Sam situation and that throws Axel off. Maybe Kwan's death is still affecting him, even though I don't see him being the type to have sympathy for that because he was just doing self-defense, or maybe the pressure of what Wolf will do to him if he dares to even lose. So maybe a blend of all these things, maybe new plots open up for Axel where it makes him lose balance, but I think all these things will play a part and affect him. But yeah, if you're a Robby fan, just don't worry. He did what he had to do in part 2. He did his thing. He will be the one to unlock Axel's weakness. And like I said, if he doesn't do that, Miguel doesn't know what to do. And vice versa. Robby can unlock what to do, but Miguel still needs to execute it. So they both need each other. And when Miguel wins and lifts that trophy, I know he's probably going to let Robby lift it, or they're both going to lift it at the same time. They're going to do the whole family thing, and they both needed each other thing. So yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Any theories, any thoughts you have about Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 3. Drop a like on the video as well. I massively appreciate the support. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. We are on the road to 900 subscribers. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.